Okay, we are recording. So hi everyone, it's so awesome to see so many of you with us tonight. Welcome to the LeadUpTeach Blab with myself, Elizabeth Bostwick, and my co-host Heidi Veal. We're so excited to welcome LaVonna Roth, who is founder of Ignite Your Shine, an international speaker, author, and consultant. Heidi, please take a minute to introduce yourself.
Well, hi everybody, and thank you for joining in to LeadUpTeach, our 5th episode tonight. My name is Heidi Veal, and I'm an assistant principal at an early childhood school here in McKinney, Texas. And I'm passionate about learning all through my life, ed tech, leadership, early childhood education, and love LaVonna and so excited that you're here with us tonight.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. So welcome, LaVonna. And we also want to give a special welcome to all of you joining LeadUpTeach tonight. So our audience that's here on Blab and on Twitter. And we just continue to invite everybody to use the hashtag of LeadUpTeach to connect and share out on social media, both during and after the Blab.
Awesome. So we want to welcome you, LaVonna. Why don't you go ahead and take a minute and introduce yourself?
Well, hey, everybody. Those who don't know me, I am traveling all over the place. So I'm usually 30,000 feet in the air. But Tampa, Florida is my home. So that's where I love to be. But I also enjoy getting out and having a chance to see so many different educators. But as it was mentioned, I travel internationally working with educators all over the world. It's been a huge privilege. But yeah, I just author, speaker, consultant, author of 8 books. And I started out focusing on brain research and engagement in the classroom and how do we raise the level of engagement and make it so that it really aligns with how the brain learns. But along that path, you know how sometimes things are tugging at you and you're like, I need to be doing something a little bit different. And I couldn't figure out what that pull was. And then eventually it came out that Ignite Your Shine. And so I'm the creator and founder of Ignite Your Shine, and just have the privilege of now spreading that message and creating that movement and making it even bigger. So it's good stuff.
That's terrific. So we're so excited tonight to learn more about your journey and how you're empowering educators all over the world through Ignite Your Shine.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And so, LaVonna, just to get us started, please just share about your journey that led you to be the inspiring educator that you are today.
Well, first of all, I appreciate you including me in the inspiring part of all that. That's the good part. You know, it's interesting because I never really planned on any of this. So when I talk about life sometimes sends you curveballs or pulls you in a certain direction, it's been interesting. And I started out in psychology as a bachelor's degree. And after about 1.5 years of it wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to be applicable. And I was learning a lot about that theory with Pavlov and Freud. And I was like, no, but what do I do with this? And I wandered through the catalog and came across education, and particularly teaching the hearing impaired. So that really caught my interest. And I have a bachelor's degree in teaching the hearing impaired special education. And then I went on and got my master's degrees. And that led me to teaching, you know, and I taught middle school in Ohio for 5 years and then moved to Florida and taught here for 5 years. And it was anywhere from elementary to secondary that I had a chance to work with so many students and interact with so many educators. And my exact plan, like many of us, was I went back and got a second master's, and it was in educational leadership to become an administrator. And I had an opportunity to step out of the classroom and out of the school building and out of education pretty much entirely. And I thought, you know, if I'm ever going to try anything different, let me just see what happens. And I did. And the first experience was a very good one, but I found that I was too far removed from education. And then I ended up working for 2 other companies where I had really, really tough experiences. Growth opportunities is how I'll say it. And it was one of those that on the last one, I came home and I said, you know what, if they can run a company, so can I. And I'll be honest with you, I never knew what that meant until now. So that's been the journey.
That's incredible.
Great.
Well, you're so inspiring, LaVonna, and you're an entrepreneur also. You're a teacherpreneur in that aspect.
Yeah.
Well, and tell us more about Ignite Your Shine, because I know that didn't just, happen overnight. You kind of have shared a little bit already. It was a journey, and where the inspiration for your inspiring message came from.
So when I was a student myself, I did really, really well in elementary school. And then by the time I got to middle school and even high school, I was struggling as a student. And when I say struggling, even to the point of getting D's. So when I went on to college, I didn't do it really well at first at all. And it became just, I couldn't figure out why, what was going on, how come I'm not doing well. I was doing so well in elementary. And that's really what led me into the brain research side of things first. And then I've witnessed a lot of my students over 10 years of teaching who were in a similar boat to me with understanding some things, but watching them progress. And as they got into older grades and come back and visit, or if I had them in the older grades, they would share with me the struggles that they had. Now I'll take it a step further to being a parent and the child who means, or children who mean the most to you, to watch them struggle in the same way that you did and that you watched other students. I thought that something isn't right here. So how do we adjust our teaching and our education system so that it aligns with how the brain learns? And like I said, I did that for several years, but then still felt this tug. And I knew that there was another step in the journey, and that's where Ignite Your Shine came about. And Ignite Your Shine is all about how kids, students, adults, none of us fit into a box. And so when we look at our current education system, we tend to say you have to be very highly successful in reading, writing, math, and science. And that's what we do our assessments on. Yet many, many of our students step way outside of that box. If you think about your own strengths and gifts and skills and talents, all of those things, they don't fit into that little box. And I just am starting to push back a little bit more on, when we put students into high math courses, for example, if it's a student who's not highly successful in math, does not have a passion for math, I'd be willing to put pretty good money that student probably will not choose a career that focuses on math as the main content. If it's something they have a passion for and they have to know some math for that, I think absolutely at that point it becomes more relevant. So please understand I'm not talking about basic life skills. I'm talking beyond that. But what about valuing the arts with STEM and STEAM? I know Laura's on here, and she's doing the whole chat with K-12 art. And just pulling in those things, when you see a student who is fantastic at illustrating, why do we not find out until later? For example, in my fun shops, I don't call them workshops, I call them fun shops. One of the things I share is a portrait that's drawn, and it's one of the best pictures I've ever seen drawn of a child. And the sad thing about it is it's drawn by a gentleman who's in prison for life because of a crime he committed. And one step beyond that, he didn't know until he was in prison that he could draw. So why do we not catch these things beforehand and get kids to understand to honor and value who they are and to go after what all of that is? So a quick little overview for SHINE is S is for self. And what are you fantastic at? What are your strengths and those gifts and those talents and those skills? And how do you use that to serve yourself, not in a selfish, greedy way, but in a way to serve you, to take care of you so that you can serve others? Once you know those, imagine students knowing this in school. Now we target the H, which is your heart, which is your passion. What lights your world on fire? Like, what does a student want to get out of bed and do every day? Well, a whole school of fifth graders told me video games. Okay, great. Yes. Well, we can work with that. There's something about video games that actually lights them on fire. So H is passion, what makes you passionate. And when you know your skills and your strengths, you know what you're passionate about, you've got a really cool package right there for who you are. But then you get to the I, and the I is inspire. And that is, what is it that you're going to do when you hit those pitfalls and those barriers, or that person who tells you, you suck, you can't do that. Or who do you think you are? Those negative comments or things that happen in life that bring you down, what are you going to do to move beyond that? And then we get to the end, which is one of the hardest parts of the whole process, because that's what SHINE is a process, is the N is navigate. And navigate is that action plan. What are you going to put in place to make sure that your skills for the S, your heart and your passion come together, you've got inspiration. Navigate is that what's your journey going to be, what's your story going to be, and it'll change as you go, but at least have an action plan. And by doing all of that, you become the E, and the E is the exceptional you that you were meant to be. So I want students to learn how they shine, and it's time that we ignite their shine and we ignite our own shine as well.
I absolutely love that. And I love the concept of helping students to find their inner passion, what really drives them. And you're right that when students really know what drives them, what they're passionate about, they're going to work harder in those areas that they need to be successful.
Mm-hmm. Right. And if you look at it, whether you're successful in reading, writing, math, and science will not define your success in the future. As a matter of fact, Angela Myers, who you have on next week, which I'm so thrilled, I adore her. She was sharing an article called Turning the Tide. at the What Great Educators Do Differently conference, and it's the elite universities around the world. The top 144 of them got together and they did a PSA, a public service announcement. And the whole point of it was to say, we're not looking at ACT and SAT scores anymore. And it's not because we devalue those. Those are important, assets to have and knowledge to have. But what they are looking for is, what are you doing to contribute to the world, contribute to society, to make things better as a whole? And I found that super exciting.
That is very much so. And so to elaborate from that too, from your perspective, why is igniting teacher empowerment so important as well?
Well, I believe that we're always models for students. They're always looking to us to watch how we handle things and what we do. And so if we empower teachers, so in other words, teachers have a voice, and teachers know that they are trusted to do what they do as a professional, which they are, they went to school for, right? If all of that comes into place, now you have teachers who are confident in what they do because they're allowed to have the freedom to explore and take risks and fail and get up again. But yet they're modeling that for students. Students have a chance to even see that happening, and say, hey, so when I fail, it's okay. Oh, you're not that great at that, but you know what? There's things that I'm not great at either. And so by allowing teachers to have that, take that risk is one thing. And when teachers begin to understand how they ignite their shine, they feel they're already empowered. It's a matter of igniting that, or a matter of opening up that gate to understand that who you are is welcomed and everything you do has an effect on our students. But if we don't give teachers that empowerment or that freedom to be able to do what they need to do, how do they model it for students? How do we lower their stress so that they can show students how to handle stress at the same time if they're constantly at such a high stress level? And part of that is pulling back on all the assessments that are given. I'm not saying get rid of every assessment, because I do think there's value to them. But when I hear districts who have 93 testing days in one school year, come on. That's not a way to be able to either not only have time to teach, but also a way to, when do you also model those soft skills for students? And if you look at businesses, even Google, 3M, for example, we look at entrepreneurs, which is one of the biggest rising industries in the United States. When you look at those two aspects, they're looking for soft skills. They feel they can teach a lot of people other things, but how do you teach them creativity if they've been locked in on logical? How do you give them the soft skills to communicate, have conflict resolution, work as a team? Because that's where a lot of them are moving to.
Great point, LaVonna. This is just so fascinating. I can tell just from the conversation going on in the chat stream that it's really resonating with the LeadUpTeach audience. So tell us more about, how do you envision Ignite Your Shine really impacting the educational landscape at large?
Ooh.
What impact do you wish to have on education at large?
Maybe I should just show you my dry erase board over there.
Turn the computer.
Actually, there's a whole bookcase blocking it, but yeah.
Master plan is behind the bookcase.
Give us no, I would love, similar to what I was saying, I would love to see education changed and what we honor, what we value. And, we hear about the whole child, and whether you say whole child, whole learner, whole teacher, whole educator, whole leader, whatever you want to say. But when we look at who is in this, the whole person, when you look at who is in our schools, period, and even outside of schools, what is it that we're doing to make sure that they, again, have the skill set to be able to be confident in who they are? So I would love, my ultimate dream would to have Ignite Your Shine in every single school and every single classroom. Because I believe that if we build the confidence in students to understand who they are and to say, you know what, this is who I am, this is what I'm great at. Okay, that I need to work on, and that I need to work on, that I need to work on. But man, I really rock at this. Now I believe bullying would decrease, if not go away, if every student could feel that way. And I believe in making that a goal. If every adult felt confident in who they were, we wouldn't have competition that wasn't friendly competition, but tearing each other down. So if we could get this into every school and every classroom and get that to be a core of, it can be integrated in directly, or it could be separated out the first few minutes of the day or the first few endings of the day, doing that. But now take that to, I'm starting to work with a lot of corporations who want to Ignite Your Shine in there because they want to change the culture within their school. within their business. So by starting within our schools, I believe that immediately as the students graduate and get into the workforce, that automatically carries in. But how cool would it be if we had people who believed in who they were, always working to improve on those things that they're weak at? So I'm not talking all warm and fuzzy by any means, but still have the confidence saying, I'm not going to beat myself up over all of my weaknesses because I do have strengths and this is what I have to offer the world. That's a piece of it, the master plan.
It is. And I appreciate that so much, because I think whether you're in a school and it's teachers, or whether you're with students, or even in a business, I mean, Ignite Your Shine can make such an impact on the culture.
Yep.
And so, LaVonna, what are your ideas or tips on how teachers can go out and be more empowered themselves? Or in your words, ignite their shine, ignite your shine.
Yeah. Ignite a shine, her shine, his shine. Yes. All of it. One of the biggest tips I'm going to say, especially to educators, although I've been working with a large group of women, because that's another interest point that has come up, and a large group of them. And to me, one of the biggest things is to take time for you. And I know that kind of sounds like, wait, out of everything, all the tips you're going to say, that's the one thing. It is the one thing I'm going to say, because I feel that we are such in a heavy paced, fast paced world right now. And especially for educators, you are phenomenal at taking care of everybody else. But as I say in my fun shops, if you don't take care of you, who will take care of our students? So it's so important to take time for you and share that with your students. Teach them how to take care of and take time for themselves, so that they have a chance to reflect on who they are. What is it that I want to do? Who do I want to be? Like, who do I feel I am? How do I get there to do that? And take those opportunities to reflect. And when teachers do that, I know students will too. And they begin to embrace who they are. And I think another part of it to ignite your shine is really go out and look for those passions. And look for, we're very passionate about education. That's a give me. But what else are you passionate about? Is it crocheting? Is it canoeing? Is it wall climbing? I mean, so many diverse things. And even if you're not sure, or you do have some things, I highly encourage you to go find something new. Go try something new and different. And that's a challenge I've given to myself more recently, is I'll pick up a newspaper, or I'll be going through and see an article, and I'm like, I'm actually stopping to read it. And the reason is because I want to open up my insights to what else is out there and what other connections are being made. And that main thing came from, I was learning about 3M, and they're a really cool company. When you look at them, they take their researchers and their scientists. So 3M does the adhesive and so a bunch of other things too. But their researchers and scientists are in a department for 3 years. After 3 years, they go to another department, totally changing. And the reason they do that is because they want them to bring the expertise and insight to that department, because now that allows opportunities of what you might not have seen or known before. So as educators, we get so sucked into looking at all of the education articles, but what about expanding ourselves beyond that? Because now that's even more that you'll bring into the classroom, which to me benefits students, because some of them will go into education, but many of them will go into other fields as well.
That's a great point, LaVonna. I love how you're trying out new things, and even pushing yourself to read articles that are outside of, your typical interests, or, inside your wheelhouse of what you pursue, just to help you make connections above and beyond.
Right. You know what?
What is?
Do you mind if I ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
So,
yes, please.
Okay, so the other part is the fact of what is it that inspires you, and finding those things. Because I know that when I come in and I work with educators, whether it's a keynote, whether it's a fun shop, the faces are just drained. The stress level, I can read it through the body, through the face. A lot of times come in like, what's one more thing you're going to have me do or tell me I have to do? And that's what it should not be about, right? So it's about inspiring, and how do you inspire each other, and how do you inspire others? And that's where that I comes in strongly. So doing things like jumping on a blab for LeadUpTeach. What a great tip for you to do to ignite your shine. Whether you're joining Twitter chats, like EdBeat is a fantastic one. I know that TLAP is out there, Ed Therapy, K-12 Art Chat. Jump in, even if you're not an art teacher, jump in, and begin to learn those things. And I know for me, it can be a quote, it can be a song, or many of you know that I have my Ignite Your Shine bracelets out there. So Heidi, you have yours on?
Yay! Yes, I do.
Yes. So the bracelet is, I don't know if I can get to see it there, but it's in the shape of a light bulb. So there you go. Yeah. So a gentleman who has just amazing skills, and he creates these out of a bicycle spoke, and so it doesn't rust because it's stainless steel. And what I love about it is that's the bracelet. The bracelet is the shape of a light bulb shine, and it wraps around 5 times, one for each letter of shine. And what's really neat is people have it facing out when they're feeling good and want to help others shine, but they take it off and they turn it to themselves, which is a psychological thing within the brain that is a great trigger, a great piece to be able to look at and see, a great anchor, and to say, you know what, I need a little shine today, so I'm going to turn it to me. So whatever it is, that's the other tip I'd give you is, what is it, aside from passion, what else would inspire you?
Wow, I love it. I think you're on fire, LaVonna.
I know you're talking and I can't shut up, sorry.
No, you're so inspiring, and you're giving me so many things that I'm thinking about, even things with my students. So it's just everything that you're sharing is so powerful. And whether it's for teachers, students, people in the business, it's just awesome to be able to take into the work world. And I mean, even at home, when you're thinking about empowering everybody, your own children, and helping them to find their passion so that they go out stronger, believing in themselves.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love that. And when you do that at home, I know educators work with students all day and then they come home to their own children. It can be exhausting. It's a different type, but it's still exhausting. And so being able to look for that in your own children and to be able to empower them in that way, love it.
I know, just thinking about that, LaVonna, I think something that we struggle with a lot. I mean, and I think I can speak for most all educators this way. We feel like we go to school and we give our first and best to our students, to our school, to the people that we serve. And then the tremendous amount of guilt that we feel when we come home, are we giving sloppy seconds to our family, that God has blessed us with, who really is our first priority in this world. And so I believe that your message is really empowering people to look at the priorities through the correct lenses, to say, take care of yourself, your family, so that you can love and serve the families in your schoolhouse that have been entrusted to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, very important. I mean, I need to hear that for myself. Jeff knows that too. So I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that.
I am too, Heidi. But it's something else that I consider is that we're always modeling for our kids too. So when they see us going out in schools and making a difference and connecting and doing what we do, I think that has such an impact just as much too, So there's lots of ways I think to look at all of that.
It's true. It's true. Well, LaVonna, as we are kind of nearing the end of our conversation, I think we could stay on and talk all night. Because one thing that you would really like our Lead Up teachers to walk away with or go to do to make a difference shine.
One takeaway.
That's hard.
I know it is. I'm going to go to what Liz just said. I'm going to go to modeling. Just remember that you're always modeling. So don't forget, like I said earlier, model the ups and then also model the downs. So when you do fall down, model how to get back up, and so just taking care of you. That to me, it's the number one thing, because I feel like if we re-energize ourselves, then we can serve others in a much better way. And we have that energy to be able to go for. And those of you that are educators, or even those of you, if you're on here for business, look at your colleagues. And think instead of them when they're coming towards you and thinking, oh, geez, here she comes. You know how she always, try to hide from them, right? Or he does this and it drives me crazy, when he instead spin it and say, what about this person shines and how can I better show that and bring that out in them? Because I'm telling you, that would be a win-win.
Yes, absolutely.
I think when we add value to others too, like you're mentioning, it's just extremely powerful. And then I think, as you're mentioning, it's contagious too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I recently heard something along the lines of, when you bring joy to others, it brings joy to you. And I think that's a great way to say that.
I agree.
Well, the whole thing too, it's better to give than to receive. I mean, it's the same thing. It's better to serve than to be served, all of those pieces.
Yeah. Cliches, but they're great ones. They're there for a reason.
Yeah. So, LaVonna, as we wrap up, would you mind just sharing what's in the near future for you that's coming up?
Wow. Lots of keynotes and speaking, of course. I'm also working on some tools for teachers. I've had that request for what are some activities and things that we can do in the classroom that don't take a lot of time, but can really boost the shine in our students and get them going. And so I'd love to get a toolkit together for educators. So if any of you have any ideas on what you would like to see in that, please throw it my way, because that's something that will be starting here in the near future, June, July, and get working on that. And then the other piece too that I'm actually going to ask for some help with is, I can't do this myself, and I do have some people involved here with the company, but I can't get Ignite Your Shine out there by myself. So one of the things I want to start doing is have an ambassador program and have those that want to go out and really help spread this message and really see the value in it. And in order for us to make change and to make an impact, especially in education, we know how locked in for hundreds of years it can be. If we truly believe in things like Ignite Your Shine and looking at the whole learner or child or person and a lot of the other things we talked about tonight, it can't be just me. It's possible. So if any of you want to be an ambassador or have any ideas of how that ambassadorship could look, I would love to have that too. But other than that, I'll be 30,000 feet up in the air, just traveling and hoping to see all my new friends. I love when I go to cities because I get so many people that I go to dinner with, or we talk near the airport. Like, it's just fun. So, yeah.
That's exciting. You have a really exciting future ahead of you.
Thank you. I hope so.
Well, and if you're ever in the DFW area, the Veals want you to come to our casa, and we would love to connect with you here if you're ever in the area.
I just got a request yesterday for September, so it's the Dallas area, so I'll be in touch with you.
Oh, that's exciting.
Okay, let's do it.
And if you come anywhere near New York, let me know that too.
All right. Yeah, none on the calendar right now, but we'll work on that.
All right. Definitely need to work on that.
Yes.
So, Lavana, thank you so much for joining Lead Up Teach tonight. I know that Heidi and I really enjoyed talking with you, and our audience really enjoyed listening in and being able to participate in the live chat.
Good. Well, thank you, ladies, and thank you, everyone. I know how busy you are. Thank you for jumping on Blab tonight. I appreciate it.
And Lavana, thank you too personally just for being on and for inspiring the Lead Up Teach audience. We have high hopes that the recording here on Blab tonight was successful and there was no tech difficulty. So hopefully we'll have a live recording archived and able to share out on Twitter and other social media. And we just look forward between now and our next Blab and encourage everyone to follow the really great folks who tuned in to the Lead Up Teach Blab tonight with Lavana.
Awesome.
Yeah. And again, we want to thank both Lavana and the audience. And in the meantime, we also want to announce the next date and time for our next Lead Up Teach episode. And if you would, just mark your calendars if you would like to join us for episode 6 that will air on Thursday, June 2nd with Angela Myers. And again, it's going to be 7:30 Central Time here on Blab. And when Angela Myers comes, she's going to be discussing liberating the genius of students. So we're really excited to build off Ignite Your Shine and move into liberating the genius of students.
Perfect.
We just feel so lucky. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a terrific night. Lavana, again, thank you so much. Like, big hugs.
Thank you. Go Ignite Your Shine, everyone.
Bye.